celebrating 28 years so far of teaching Photoshop. Here's Dave Cross with another in his series of 28 Photoshop tips.
Hey, we're on tip number 15 of my list of Photoshop tips. This one involves how important it is to use these wonderful things called Scrubby Sliders, with an extra little bonus tip thrown in. Anytime you're working in Photoshop and you want to change something, for example, here I have some type and I want to change the size. Rather than pull down this menu and pick one of these sizes, I just position my cursor right above the letter T there. See how I get this little hand with arrows, and now as I drag to the right it gets bigger. If I drag to the left it gets smaller. So this is a very quick way. Now I can hit Command or Control Enter to finalize it. Same thing applies with layers. I see people all the time going to change the opacity and they pull down this little slider and then drag it, which of course works, but instead, again, just position your cursor right above the word opacity and you can drag to the left to make it lower opacity, drag to the right to make it a larger opacity. Now I'm just going to add a bit more type here. Show you that there's one other little trick here. If you're using the Scrubby Sliders and you got a long way to go, meaning I want this to be really big, you could have to drag pretty far. But if you hold down the Shift key, it jumps really quickly. So when you're using the Scrubby Sliders, the movement is much faster. If you're very close to what you want, now you want to slow things down, instead use Option or Alt with the Scrubby Sliders, and now no matter how fast you try and drag that Scrubby Slider, it's going to be much more gradual. So that's another possibility, is to do that, and then again use the same method here. Once I get to a certain point, I'm close to what I want, Option Alt, see now how that opacity is moving much slower. Or if I want to get all the way to 100 really quickly, Shift drag will do that for you. So Scrubby Sliders, a real time saver, definitely when you're working with any field that has numbers in it, whether it's opacity or size or anything else, and these two little shortcuts just can make it that much better. Start using Scrubby Sliders today. I think you'll find them a huge time saver. As always, I got more tips to go, so keep watching for more Photoshop tips.